was home all day and I was working, and I had to make sure that she got her daddy time because she was a bit miserable. She's like, I want my daddy. So sometimes it's good to be. Let me catch my breath. All right, so now I've caught my breath. Welcome to episode 55 of Only Good News. 55 episodes so far. I am so proud of what we've been able to achieve so far, and I'm so thankful to all of you who have continued to encourage me, to continue to tell me that, listen, you have a good show, keep doing what you're doing, and, thank you. Right? So this week is going to be different. I definitely, on my little promo thingamajig I do on Facebook, I indicated that we are going to have a first return guest to the show. Normally after the show, we have an after show. And I've always said, I would love sometimes for some of you to be a fly on the wall during those conversations, because you start to hear a lot deeper conversations that just matter. And I said, you know what? Man, I had such a wonderful time after the last show, and it would be so good to expand on some of those conversations, and this time centered around entrepreneurship. But until we get there, I normally have to talk about the good stories and all that kind of stuff. So let's talk a little bit about what's been good so far. Top story that's good is I know this is a very polarizing topic, right? But the St Kitts and Nevis Patriots, they've just been winning, man. Okay? All they do is win, 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 no matter what. They've just been winning. They've won 4 straight. And I don't purport to be somebody who understands cricket, but all I know is terms like leg before wicket and bowling and 6 and 4 and single. And I heard lots of those words called 4s and 6s. And I was like, okay, that's something pretty good. So they've done pretty well. So kudos to the St Kitts and Nevis Patriots for keeping up the winning streak. Let's hope when they get to the knockout rounds. I remember, was it last year when they were doing really well and I think they got knocked out in the semifinals? It was a nail biter. I can't remember. But anyway, they're doing really well. All right, great. Next bit of good news is somebody who is supposed to be one of my guests. He was supposed to be here last week, and then this week it couldn't happen. Anyway, Atiba Harris again. Come, like, if you want to win, you have to change your name to Harris. So we already knew Kamala Harris won, Timothy Harris won, Atiba Harris won. Come, like, if I want to win something, I got to change my name to Harris. But Atiba Harris has won the St. Kitts Football Association elections, and now he's the president. I mean, that's a big deal because he has represented us very well overseas. And he is definitely scheduled to come here and share some of those stories that are worth sharing. All right? All right. Well, those are 2 local stories I felt that were worth sharing. Another story, not local, but this is pretty cool. Nike has closed corporate offices for a week-long mental health break. Nike is closing its corporate offices this week to give its employees a paid week-long mental health break ahead of its September return to office plans. Our senior leaders are sending out a clear message. Take the time to unwind, distress, and spend time with your loved ones. Do not work, he wrote. It's not just a week off for the team. It's an acknowledgement that we can prioritize mental health and still get work done. People, we gotta take some hints from this, man. Our work culture here is very unhealthy. Okay? Why is it that we feel that it's okay to give people 15 days in 365 days of work as vacation? Oh, my producer said he hopes that Shakari. Her name is Shakari. It's Carrie, okay? No, you said Shakari, okay? Okay, you said Shakari. Okay, Shakari Richardson, he said he hopes they don't get the week off. Anyway, she's running tomorrow. But yeah, he says, it's times like this that I'm so grateful to be part of this team. In a year or two, unlike any other, taking time for rest and recovery is key to performing well and staying sane. And he goes on to say, this past year has been rough. We're all human. I'm only human, that's for sure. Big tune. And as Rag and Bones. All right, and living through a traumatic event. But I'm hopeful that the empathy and grace that we continue to show our teammates will have a positive impact on the culture of work moving forward. And it comes amidst countless reports of workers nationwide reconsidering their careers amid the pandemic and as the U.S. workers navigate a murky return to office plans because, COVID is, more people are vaccinated and more people are saying they have to return to offices. All right, now what else are we going to talk about? This is a good story here. If you save pennies, I didn't say panties, I said pennies, for 45 years, you just may end up saving $5,000 US dollars. This guy saved pennies in 15 5-gallon bottles for 15 years and end up cashing out at the bank. And $5,000. Good story. I now I'm going back like 10 years. Like there was a time when I used to save my $1. I used to save all of those things, and there was a big heavy bottle. And yeah, I'm not going to reveal what happened to that on air because the person might get upset with me. So let me just leave that alone. All I know is that I don't have that bottle anymore, and I'm looking at this man who got like $5,000 for saving pennies. I was saving dollars, $5, 5 cents, 10 cents. I would have probably had $50 million to go spend everything I want to do. I understand there's going to be millions. Anyway, fine. We're done with that. All right. Last story we're going to talk about is a man walking from Vero Beach. This guy walked across the entire country when tragedy struck. He lost his son to suicide in 1999. His name is Steve Fugate, I don't know. Just a few years later, his daughter died from an accidental drug overdose. He has walked 47,000 miles throughout the U.S. since the devastating loss 20 years ago. And he has walked across the country 8 separate times, each journey bringing new answers and offering more peace. The journey is what he calls trail therapy. Nature is a great place to grieve, Fugate said. It gave him more time, more than an escape from his pain. It was an educator teaching him about life, healing, and the preservation of mental health. That thing again, mental health. Now he hopes to give back to the natural world and its inhabitants that embrace him throughout the years. And his latest walk, which started on Saturday, will take him from Vero Beach through St. Lucie, Martin, Palm Beach counties, Key West, and up to Naples to Tallahassee. And this 3-week, 1,600-mile journey is meant to raise awareness and funding for the critically endangered Florida panther, he said. They are just gorgeous animals. He said of the species, named in the 1982 as the Florida's official state animal. And there are only an estimated 120 to 230 wild panthers left, according to the data from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Good stuff. You can see a picture of him with this lovely, he looks really cute. He looks like the guy from Up with a sign that says love life. Love life. All right, on that note, we're going to take a very, 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 very quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to have only good news with a different flair. By the way, I always have to big up our sponsors. And I know people don't understand or may not appreciate what it takes to have a sponsor. But let me tell you, when you don't have a sponsor, you will know. When they come on board, right, you will then know even more. So I have to big them up. And remember that if you use your platinum loyalty card at TDC, who they've partnered with, kudos to Pat Walters. You get like discounts, you get percentages off, you get to do a lot. There are benefits to using your platinum loyalty card. Either you get bumped up to the next bandwidth tier. Like right now, I'm paying $160. I'm getting 60 megs down. And like I said on my previous show, I didn't understand or appreciate that value until I had to download a critical file quickly. And it was like 9 gigs doing some IT geeky stuff. And in a few minutes, that thing was downloaded, man. So more bandwidth works, okay? More bandwidth, more bang for your buck. More band for your buck. All right, trademark that. We'll be right back.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WINN FM.
More and more cable customers are getting their cable internet package upgraded for free.
I paid 3 months and I got upgraded from Flash to Bolt. So now I'm actually paying less for more.
Yes, up to double speeds and savings of up to $200 per month just for using your card to pay your bill.
I had this Bolt package, then I got this platinum card and I paid my bill with that. They have upgraded me to Strike, which is almost double the speed now.
All it takes is a little loyalty. Use your Cable Platinum Loyalty MasterCard to pay 3 consecutive cable bills.
I was upgraded from Flash to the Bolt after paying my bill on time for 3 consecutive months, and I'm now enjoying the free upgrade.
To keep the upgrade, just continue using your Platinum Loyalty Card to pay your cable bills. Pay your bill in-store or online at www.thecable.net. Sign up for the Cable Platinum Loyalty Card today and get more. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, we are back. We're back, man. You know, you've ever watched the movie Hangover? You ever watch Hangover?
No, you did not go there.
You ever?
Once again, you picked a topic that is so me. I've watched The Hangover about 135,000 times. The original, Hangover 1.
2 and 3.
Look, number 1 was the best. It is great comedy. And I don't laugh easily.
Yeah, that was good. The reason why I asked that question is because, you know, we have sequels now. We have a sequel of the show. Sometimes you just said sequels, you know, 1 was the best.
Yes. But the others have something to offer as well.
Just as we are now. See what I did there?
Yo, good segue.
You know, I had asked Veronica to come and join us because, you know, the energy she brought here when she was here a lot of the time, Lottie didn't get to feel it because the internet, some rat went and ate fiber optic cable somewhere. And so the internet went down, so you didn't get to see it. So I was like, you know, let her come back. But, you know, she said she had some other plans. And so, Veronica, if you're listening, I would like to say that's what she said. Inside joke.
So we got to book
Inside joke
to come back, bro.
Inside joke. All right. So, but because the conversation was centered around entrepreneurship, you know, I said, you know, she would be good to lend her stories, you know,
I agree.
perspective.
I agree.
So thank you so much for coming back.
It's my pleasure. I loved it. I love your passion for the show. I love your passion for good news. And it just makes me on this side of the table just give back the same sort of energy. It comes from you, dude.
It takes 2. As you can see, I shaved though. Took my clippers. I haven't been to the barber since February 2020.
Why?
Well,
Is it obvious? Okay.
COVID hit, and you know, I was just
You learned a new skill?
Well, I've always done it, but I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy cutting my hair because I have to make sure. Let me tell you something, right? If they ask you who did your hair as a man, it's not a good question. As a woman, it's different. Who did your hair is like, okay, I want somebody.
Right.
I want to know who did it so I can go there.
Right.
When they ask you who did your hair, they're making sure that it was you. Because something is wrong.
As a man, okay.
As a man, so who did you? They're gonna say I like it. They may say they don't. I don't think men say I like your haircut. I'm like, you know, you look sharp.
Okay.
They're not gonna say like
really?
it's the full package. It's like you look sharp. Yeah, you're looking sharp today. But when they ask you who did your hair,
it's like, damn,
what happened? So yeah, I did have a few of those when I was like, were you trying to grow like a tail or something? Like, just say you miss a patch in the back because I don't have. I guess like I literally just, and I hope that I catch every spot.
Oh yeah, I bought my own clippers too. I remember when I was living in the UK studying, and I was like, I go into the barber too much, and it's taking up too much of my time.
Did you buy your own Lakers too?
Yes, I used to cut my hair myself.
Wait, did that joke fly over your head?
Completely.
Ha! Dumpster, did you not hear that joke? She said she bought her own clippers.
Oh, come on. Let me knock you out.
And then I asked,
I'm going to knock you out.
and then I asked, she said she bought her own clippers to do her hair, and I asked if she bought her own Lakers.
What do you call it? Yeah. I'm telling you. Now I get
Now
it.
she gets it.
Yeah, I'm going to be LL Cool J on him now.
All right, good stuff. So, yeah, we were talking about entrepreneurship last week, and we're giving stories in Ting
Okay.
and Piedrilla and by
Yo.
yeah, I'm very bad with the dad jokes.
Cheesy, man. Cheesy.
Yeah,
You have cows. You have like
Yeah. They used to accuse me
Acres.
when I used to say that I'm making jokes. They say, you're making statements. Those are not jokes. I used to get booed off them, but that's one of my. They don't know. My brand of comedy is my good attempts at appearing to try to look like I'm telling a joke. It's intentional, man. You see, when you're rich, you can afford to look poor. You can afford to dress poor.
Okay.
You can afford to be scruffy. You just come in your draggers and wherever. You have nothing to prove because you know you got it.
Yeah.
When you are purportedly, through the eyes of others, intelligent, through the eyes of others,
Right.
then you can also say you can always fall back on that perception when you're silly. Because you can afford to be silly because you know
That people
if
consider you to be
people-
brilliant.
right.
Okay.
So that's my brand.
Oh.
So the joke's not on me, it's on everybody else.
And their perception.
Yes, but on Bush. All right, so the word entrepreneur, what does that word mean to you?
It means, simply, for me, it is an individual it's an individual who provides a good or service to their community that is of use to their fellow citizens, and it satisfies a need. It fills a gap. That's what I look at entrepreneur as. And notice I didn't say anything about money. I didn't say anything about getting rich. It is about looking after your fellow human being.
Okay,
Bringing something
I could dig
to
that.
to help out their situation.
I could dig that. Remember, tonight we're bantering, so feel free to throw stuff
Oh,
back
okay.
at me. This is not
This ain't
this
one
is
way.
a bilateral
Okay, then,
show.
okay, then.
It's the show with a difference.
Okay.
This thing keeps moving, so we'll just do it this way.
Okay, cool.
So anyway, that's good. I think an entrepreneur means somebody who dreams a dream and follows the dream against all odds.
So which entrepreneurs you look up to? Whether local or regional or international?
Oh, Richard Branson, man.
Oh.
I look up to him because he represents a brand that isn't typically well represented. He's a free spirit. He's dyslexic. He's a dreamer. He's a big risk taker, but he also cares. When he came back from space, and I saw my friend Jovan interview him when he came to the airport, the first people he wanted to talk to was the kids, children. Like, he wasn't even all about, he just literally just sat down and he stooped down and spoke to the little children, two children away. He was like, do you ever look up in the sky and see the moon, and would you want again? So that level of down to earthness is what I like about him. A billionaire who you can actually have a conversation with.
And what he's doing with those kids, he's planting the seed of
planting
interest.
the seeds. Yes, that's what he's doing. So that's, in fact, with my startup, I'm see if I can find it. I'm going to be searching for my Evernotes. But you will see that he influenced my startup.
Which is what? Tell me about it. What's your startup?
Wow. We're going there.
We're going there.
We're not.
You ain't getting away from this.
No, we're not getting away from this. But we're gonna. There's a time for that.
Okay.
So we're gonna get there, but we're gonna rain check on that. But I want to say, in what way Richard influenced me, because there was a particular video that I watched him put out, and while I was building my startup, anytime anything that resonated with why I should do it popped up, I either recorded it or took a screenshot of it and I put it in a document and called it reasons. Right? Yeah, big thing. And so sometimes I may go back and look at that because now, I've created stuff, and for me, I'm like, okay, I want to go back and see what that looks like, right? So keep all the devices, okay. So yeah, I create these reasons, and he basically was I'm literally trying to, okay, fine. Okay, save and continue. Okay, all right. So I am trying, okay, this is it here. Reasons from Richard Branson. It says, come, right. If you create something exceptional, it actually ends up becoming very valuable. And he goes on to say, I know in America, people are fairly fixated on money, billionaires, millionaires, and so on. I am not, says Branson. What I love doing is creating things I can be proud of. And if you create things that you can be proud of, the byproduct of that can be you become a millionaire or you become a billionaire because people like what you've created.
But the thing is, one thing with entrepreneurship that I think a lot of us need to be aware of is that it doesn't happen overnight. And I'm sure Richard could attest to this. You know, it takes years, it takes decades almost for your entity, your idea, what you planted within your space to really give you back the revenue that you put into it and more for all the years that you went without. Because when you start a business, you actually are sacrificing tremendously. You know, you don't get the thousands and thousands of dollars. You just go with belief. And you go and you continue year after year, day after day, you show up. Eventually, what I feel happens with an entrepreneur is that an opportunity occurs. An opportunity, and you don't meet that opportunity if you don't get up in the morning and do what you have to do. That's what happens with an entrepreneur, and I think it is that opportunity that just opens the door, and revenue floods in, bookings flood in, orders flood in. But until that moment comes, you just have to really enjoy learning.
But not even enjoy the frustrations that come through that have you ever doubted or questioned why, whether? Have you ever had those moments where you're wondering if you've made the right decision with your risk, or you've just been like, all right, I know I question myself. Which
is normal in entrepreneurship. I don't think, I've never questioned it because this is what I wanted to do since a child. So what I questioned was when I was not doing it. So I remember when I was working at Tourism Authority at one point in time, and I said, Ma, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And what really started the ball rolling, but it didn't really happen until 4 or 5 years after that, is that my dad's elder sister in St. Vincent and the Grenadines was murdered by a mentally ill patient one Saturday after he was coming from the market. And when you heard of that tragedy, I said, Ma, you have one life to live. You can't be pussyfooting around this life. Look at someone who's just went to the market. And someone approached her asking her for something, and bam, he killed her. Right there, broad daylight. And that made me think, no, this entrepreneurship idea, you can't sit on it. You have to do it. So I never questioned it. I questioned my decisions. And look, when it comes to entrepreneurship, I made the most mistakes. If you look in the dictionary, you'll see my pretty picture right there. And I don't follow a format. I don't even look at competition. I don't believe in looking at competitors. I don't, because the wisdom is within you. All of us break bad, All of us got sense. God is within each and every one of us. You don't need to talk to a friend to ask them, wait, think I should done him? You don't. You don't need to ask a friend, what should I study? Or you don't need to ask a friend anything fundamental. You know the answer already. You just want to bounce things off of somebody, or somehow you value someone else's point of view. and you hope that they're telling you what you want to hear. But I don't look at competition because I'm wasting my time and my energy, and it's distracting me from bringing out my own creativity. I'm like, look, all of us can do well. All of us on the planet will do well. So don't be concerned with the person next to you. You just keep your eye on your path, straight ahead, and allow creativity to come out. What you think about? Do you think that it's worth looking at your competition?
Of course.
Okay. Why?
Well, so competition, and I'm glad you brought this up because it's something that I talk about very often when I'm having conversations with entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs. When you come and tell me you're going to start a business in a saturated market, I'm going to ask you, like, are you sure? How are you going to stand out? You know? And in St. Kitts, there is a lot of markets that are saturated. So let me give you the analogy. Somebody decides, okay, I'm going to sell food on the bypass. Okay. That person starts to make a lot of money. So they found something. They found a location that works. And then somebody else says, you know what, I'm going to sell food on the bypass. And then 10 more people. And now you have so many other people there selling food, which is good for us, the consumers, now, because now we have
Options.
We have options.
Lot of options.
But we're now, that person who was making a lot of money at first starts to make a little bit less, and everybody starts to make a little bit less. And then what tends to happen is you have to pivot, you have to adapt, you have to find ways to be to make up for that difference. And then otherwise you're just gonna go out of business.
But that's the crux of entrepreneurship.
Right.
You can't really get up and go to work and expect for the next 10, 15, 20 years you're doing the same thing
Right.
they're out there in. You have to come up with new ways.
Right.
And I have no problem. That's a wonderful situation. You know, I'm different. I swear, I don't know why the Lord made me, but I am continuously stepping out of comfort zones. And I have friends who look at me and say, girl, you like not about it? And I look at them and I think, what do you mean by not boat? You mean going into an avenue that you've never done before, you've never heard before, you don't have experience in? That ain't not boat. That's growth.
Yeah.
That's courage. So, you know, I that's exciting. So to me, as an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to reinvent what you're doing. And the thing is, it ain't gotta be the biggest thing.
No.
It could be the smallest thing. It could be that, so all of us selling food on the bypass. It could be that there's a particular plant, I don't know, that you tend to find makes people happy and they come into your establishment. And you're like,
Right. But then that means that the reason why that came up because you asked a question about competition. You have to be aware of what people are doing.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Me don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think so.
Let me tell you, because when you're going, so I just participated. A lot of people don't know, but I participated in the Entrepreneurship World Cup, the St Kitts leg, and as well as the Caribbean regional leg, right? And I had to develop a 3-minute pitch. 3-minute pitch.
That's long.
Just me, with everything that I had to deliver on. I had to make sure I told a story. I had to make sure I had financial. I had to make sure there's something called a competitive advantage matrix. That means, how do you stand out with respect to your competitors? You have to know. It's a question that people who want to invest in you want to know. Have you determined, besides you knowing that you're awesome and different, can you quantify that? Can you qualify that? Because when you know that you're different and you can qualify and quantify it, then you can actually execute on that. So that's it's a necessity when you're trying to convince somebody to spend and invest in you.
Wait, let me tell you some entrepreneurship. I hear you. I completely understand. And that's a tier. That is a part. That's a segment of entrepreneurship. Me know, a true business is life. It's not a classroom. You know, you can't pitch a true business. I hear what you're saying, and there are businesses like that over the world who have done extremely well. But from my point of view, it is about getting up every day, doing your due, and observing your customers.
Right. I get that.
And
But
reading.
when you want to scale, you're gonna have to get into that nitty gritty when you want to scale. I'm going through that. I know this because I am going through this right now as we speak.
Okay.
I am having to understand exactly how much money will I need to take this from point A to point B. I can't guess. Okay, I'm gonna have to look at other people, other ventures, other businesses, other platforms, and see what is their customer acquisition cost. That's a difficult question to. What is my valuation of my business before even money has been put into it? What metrics am I using to value this at this particular number? Can I justify them? It's a painstaking process when you want to scale globally. It's necessary.
It takes time. You can't force it.
No,
takes time.
it takes time and effort, and you can fake it. You're gonna say you can fake it. You read a lot, you research a lot, and you pull all your variables and numbers together and present something, and then the paradigm of the startup world. I guess I'm coming from a tech background.
Yes, exactly, which requires a lot of money.
Is something that we call build, measure, and learn. So you build whatever, you measure based according to certain metrics that you would have put in place, and then you learn, and then you go back and you build.
I think you have to go through that process for 10, 15 years on your own, and maybe at the 20th year you come through and you go to an investor for that kind of money.
No. I'm living this, okay? I've gone, listen, I'm living, no, I'm a living example of this right now.
Okay.
That I came up with my idea, I built it, right?
For how long has it been running? Tell me the truth.
Hold on, no, there's stages to this.
Okay.
So in 2019, I would have come up with 2018, I would have come up with the idea. 2019, I came up with the impetus to go through with it and started to write. I literally had to write out everything. How would it look? How would it feel? What's my logo going to look like? What are my colors going to be like? Then I had to design what it looked like in my head. Then I had to hire somebody who could take my thoughts and create a working prototype so that then I can go and show to people and ask them, would you like this? Do you think this is good? Wait, hold on, I'm getting somewhere. And then take that idea, that prototype, and pitch to investors so that then they're not just seeing, and that prototype, I'm just gonna be very honest here, that prototype cost me $7,000 US of my own money to build something that doesn't even work.
That's dedication.
Okay? To build something that doesn't work so that I can get somebody to say, you know what, I want to invest 30 grand in you.
You know when I would invest 30 grand in you? When you have gone through the trenches for 5 or 10 or 15 years, not after a year. You put your blood and sweat and tears into that entity. You sell your shoe, you sell your car, and you dedicate your life to it. However, you know what allows you to get my money? When what you have created has become a human within itself. It's an entity that you don't have to talk about. People they're talking about it already. So your entity or your business or your service has to already open the door for you and talk to the investors before you, the human who created, does.
No.
Your service and your product must have fans who talk about it before you.
Yes.
But the thing is, an investor wants to make sure that they got customers.
That is true. What I'm saying is there's stages for this, and while that's one model, and I'm saying that because we have access to venture capitalists, we have access to angel investors, we have access to so much more, we have access to grants, we have access to a lot more. It doesn't have to take 20 years of proven whatever to get that far, because you can pitch. That's what it's called, pitching. You are literally saying, I built this, it's not doing well, but with this money, I can prove that this is going to yield this, and it's a risk. It's a risk the investors are taking on you. They're actually investing more in you than the business, eh?
Correct.
Because we hear the words of in Shark Tank, Mark Cuban will say, no, Mr.
But that's
Wonderful,
not the norm, though.
you're not investable.
That's not the majority of businesses that have started. A lot of them have started from human beings having an idea and executing it on their own. I'm sure if you were to research, the majority of businesses or entities came about not through pitching. If they pitched, it was after 10 years or 15 years grinding. I'm sure, but I'm not saying that what you're saying isn't right. Of course, in the IT industry, of course, I've seen it, I've read it, it's true. What you're saying is true.
It's not just IT, right? But what I'm saying is, in this day and age, right, we need to know that this can be an all. So when I am successful, you know what I'm going to do?
Oh, I have an idea.
I am literally going to come back and put my money where my mouth is. You understand? And I want to hear your ideas. I want to hear people's foolish ideas.
Me too.
You know?
I definitely would do
and
that.
because I would have money, that's just there, as a billionaire, a couple million wouldn't take anything from me, right? So let's build it.
You could do it now, though.
But
With the little experience,
that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
You know, the people come to me with ideas, and you know what I do? I expand on them, and I plant little seeds.
Oh.
You understand? Somebody came to me with an idea, and I said, listen, you know what? I'm going to buy your domain for you. I purchased the whole domain. You understand? So I'm literally doing that. So I can literally say, you know what?
That's great.
Let me see who can do your logo for you. Let me pay for that for you. Let me make sure that you have something to start with and whatever. I am literally
I'm liking that.
doing that.
So you're not waiting for the buildings
I'm
to
not
come.
waiting for that. I know where my heart is. I know where my mind is, because people, at the end of the day, while the people need money and finance, they also need coaching. They need mentorship.
Oh, heck
they need
yes.
guidance, because I could tell you a lot of these people who think they are going to make it big, because let me tell you, there's a saturation now in St. Kitts of marketplaces, which was great. The first time people, when I say market, an online marketplace. Okay, I'm going to build a platform where people can go and say they can cut here, they can do this, they can sell this or whatever, and then people can contact them and whatever. There are about 3 or 4 so far, and I saw another one just come up recently, like 5. Why do we have 5 marketplaces in St. Kitts?
You mean on Facebook?
No. There are platforms where entrepreneurs, where people who have a vocation, people who have a craft, plumbers, electricians, there are platforms where you can actually go and contact these people to hire them to do whatever. People have gone and innovated and done that. But there's too many. Right? So what I was saying before was, when you're looking at your competition, you have to now say, listen, am I going to build this outright? Or let me look at what other people are doing and see, is it working?
You know what I don't? I look at the market. I look at what the human beings in my society or human need. And that is what determines my direction.
Oh, yeah. That's what everybody determines that. That is correct. That is correct.
I read and I pick up things and I put in, not because A, B, and C, I do it. I know we're different, and this is great.
This is good.
This is great,
This
but
is good.
I don't believe in looking at competition. I'm sorry. You know, you research, you read, and you have a desire to do your best, and you talk to the customers who come to you, and you observe them, and you satisfy them. And when you satisfy them, they tell the neighbor and the auntie in Timbuktu, and you know, and because of that conversation, they come back to you. I don't believe, and to each their own. You know, my Mariel Rosetta Allen. I don't believe in watching my competition and say, "Well, she got the menu today, boy." What?
No. I don't believe in doing that either, in that way.
Okay.
What I would do is learn from the competition. And when I had to do my competitive advantage matrix, I went to Facebook, I went to Twitter, I went to LinkedIn.
Ah.
I went to all of those, and I said, "What are you guys doing that people don't like?"
Right. You're doing exactly what I said.
But I'm looking at the competition. What are you doing that people don't like?
So there's something missing in the
I
market.
find that
Correct.
void and fill it properly and stand out.
Correct.
And at that point, me competing with you, you know, I'm not competing with you. At that point, I've left you.
Yes.
Because I'm doing
been a long
something
time
different. I'm doing something
left you.
different.
Correct.
I'm doing something a lot different from you. You know, yeah, this is good. This feels like ESPN, man. Like Stephen A.
No,
Smith.
man, he's coming to the plate. Look, is LeBron better than Michael Jordan? Let's debate the issue.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we need more conversation like this. Anyway, let's transition. Who are the entrepreneurship pioneers in St. Kitts? Who stands out to you? At least, well,
You know what?
yeah.
You know what?
Who?
You wouldn't believe.
Talk to me.
The woman them outside my high school and junior high, and the women and men selling palm tray. That's my initial introduction to entrepreneurship. You know, and I mean these people, these ladies, these men, they raise their families.
I
I'm
didn't see it that
pushing the
way.
cat up the road, build house and so on out of it. So the vendors, the provision vendors and the confectionery vendors and the food vendors outside the school gate, those are who I look up to.
What? I can't even come back from that one.
I don't know, who are
Okay.
yours?
I think Licky Bud.
Okay.
I think he, by the way, Licky Bud is Carlton Emmanuel
DuPont.
Rasta without locks,
The
DuPont,
DuPont.
colorful philanthropist, polarizing.
Philanthropist, yes. Good hat.
Just, yeah. When I have him on this show, we're gonna turn up.
Yeah, you you just leave it.
We're gonna turn up, okay?
I can't wait.
We're gonna turn up. He's
You're
one
not
of
gonna
the,
wear it in, but
yeah, we're gonna turn it
But
up.
what about him?
I listened to
gotten
his
attention.
story so many times and talking about how he got help, you know, alone. He was able to create his success from the help that he got. And he always credits it back to that help. And it's coming back to the same thing that I'm saying when you're talking about being able to scale. So you need help. You need help. And what he has done, and it's in a self-deprecating, that's how to pronounce it, self-deprecating way, he has helped people to a fault. Where people have taken advantage of him, but I can't blame him because that is how he got his
Right. So he
start.
wants to give back.
Right.
Yeah.
So I look up to
Totally
him for that way
understand.
because he has not been bashful about wanting to make a difference and wanting to help people. And he has money and he talks about how much money he has and he talks about what he has done to help people. Which sometimes I'm like, Mr. Man, I don't want you to keep, but you know what? Let people know. You especially with that personality of yours, you let people. I wouldn't let people know. I don't like to know. I don't like to go and say okay, whatever. But yeah, let him do that.
You know, that's one of the reasons I think there's so many dancehall artists in Jamaica, and that's one of the reasons I think why the U.S. has such a buoyant entrepreneurship culture. It is to an extent because the entrepreneurs and the dancehall artists, their life is like out there. They're not hiding it. So you have people who are listening to them, who are seeing them, and are getting incentivized by it, are motivated by it. But in the smaller Caribbean islands, we keep to ourselves and we don't want to share. So, I mean, for various reasons, you know, privacy, you want to protect yourself. And, you know, to an extent, some people would stop buying from you because, oh, she got a new car, may I spend my dollar in show, in she store? Things like that happen. So you have to kind of protect yourself. But I think at the other end is the more we have successful business individuals speaking on their journey, the more you bring others into the fray. I think.
Exactly what we're doing
And
here tonight.
We need that more.
But let me piggyback on what you're saying because you're saying people like to protect themselves. Let me tell you what I was
Yeah.
going. I keep
Yeah.
going back to my experience. When you think you have the next big thing, you think it's going to make a lot of money, you think it's going to be successful. One of the first things, your innate reaction is to protect yourself. I can't let anybody know.
Yeah, and it's
I can't let anybody know.
It's unfortunate.
But let me tell
you
you,
can't be yourself.
let me tell you, right? I am where I am today because I shared. Okay? I wasn't afraid of anybody stealing my idea. Okay? Because they're not me. Okay?
Say it again.
They're not me.
That is true, because you would always hear people say, girl, how much times I hear a girl went in the bank for a loan, and when you look, she get turned down, and when you look, the same officer start up the same business.
Please.
Don't tell nobody your business idea. Don't tell nobody your business idea.
No, you must learn.
You know,
people must know your idea. And I used to ask people, please tear it down. Don't tell me the things I want to hear. Don't make me feel good. Don't make me feel like this is going to be successful. Give me all the reasons why it is not going to work, so I can go and tackle every single one of them and come back and make it work.
My term is what for you, for you. So if you brought up an idea and somebody executed it, it meant, this is honestly my point of view, it wasn't meant for you to be the one to execute.
Right.
And if after you've said and you've executed it, it was meant for you. You know how much people stop me on the road during the beginning of the cafe, and ever so often the successive years, you mean I was supposed to be my retirement idea and you gonna do it. I had this idea now. If I could have gotten $1 for the amount of people who told me that doing soup the way we do it in terms of every day was their idea, I would be a millionaire. But you know, the difference between an individual with an idea and an entrepreneur, it's a 5-letter word: action. That's the only difference.
Yep.
All of us have the same idea. All of us had the same concept. But the one who actually executes is the one who steps forward and does it. That's the difference. It's who's going to put in the action and who's going to take the knock out.
Let's big up some entrepreneurs that we know are around today.
Okay.
In agriculture, who comes to mind?
For me, it's the young man. I met him when he was 21 years old. He has been providing my provisions over the years. His name is Joshna. A long time I see you, Joshna. Okay, yeah, I know you're busy because you have grown your business greatly. But I can't recall his surname. But I know he's from Keon. But him, 21 years old. And when you see somebody like that entering agriculture, I purposely want to send my business their way, because we need to have succession. We need people to be able to take it over and be there in 20, 40 years doing the same thing, and who can bring others along. So him, for me, agriculture.
For me, mine would be Samal.
Ah!
Yeah, Mr.
Yes,
Man
that's
is,
my boy.
yeah, he's pushing some, yeah. He was in the show last year too.
Oh.
All right, education. Who comes to mind?
Entrepreneurship-wise?
Yeah.
Tamu Brown?
Oh, yeah.
Petra Brown?
Oh, yeah.
I knew her as Petra. Tamu is something new for me.
She's supposed to be on the show also at some point.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Let me know when that happens. She's very passionate about education, and she's very passionate about putting it across in a manner that's different to what we have been accustomed to in this jurisdiction. She's actually, a couple of times, she has shared some nuggets of wisdom with me, and she has actually made a huge difference.
Did they come with barbecue sauce? All right.
But yeah, she's good.
I'm a bit biased with this one, but I would say Kimon Archibald Lake.
Ah, yes.
Kimon
yes.
has
Yes.
taken her knockbout. Okay? She has taken her knockbout. Ever since this whole pandemic came, she was my first guest on the show. Very first guest
I remember
last
that
year.
flyer.
And
I
you know
remember.
what I like about Kimon is Kimon has always pivoted. Okay, next. She was like, Anita, I need you. Anita, I have an idea. Anita, I need you now. Like, pick up your phone. How are you? Snap out of it. I know you're low. Snap out of it. I need you. And to see how she has gone from, I think she's actually the first early childhood education center, or even first education center that has transitioned completely from paper applications to online.
Oh my goodness.
So
that is
you-
not easy.
Well, it's easy when you have people supporting you.
Okay, with the technical
Right,
skills.
It's easier now, yeah. So anyway, so yeah, completely online. So you applied for her school online. All your forms are filled out online. Your immunization, all of that, your authorization pickup forms done online. The communication about your child is done on a platform. You understand? So you can see a timeline of what your child did during the day, for the month, what they were learning, all of that.
And that's easy to access at any time that's convenient to you as a parent.
Yes. kudos to you.
Well done, Kimono. It's a Miguel. That's the right. Pinky Pian and happiness.
All right, in food, who stands out?
So many. Just okay. I'm off the top of my head. I'm not saying that there are others, but just off the top of my head, Marshall.
Okay, mine is you. That's my point of you. I'm making a point of you.
Okay.
I tasted your soup last week. Hey, Lord have mercy. I was so because I'm not a soup person, right? And I called I was like, my friend wants soup, and okay, fine, I'm not a soup person. Tell me. And then my friend was like, oh, she's gonna get goat water. I'm like, what's inside goat water? She's like, goat. Pepper soup. That's different. So I'm not a soup person. So, my gosh, when I ate that soup, hey, the thing just touched my tummy. One spot.
I have your message.
One spot.
I'll never delete that.
When I ate that soup and the dumplings, not the smart plane, the dumb ones, the dumpling, the tick dumb, it just make my stomach go yum 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 yum, and it was just good. It was delectable. It was delicious, and now I feel like that has to be a routine.
Yes.
To come back for more.
Welcome to St Kitts and Nevis.
But I want the Nigerian goat.
Yes.
Let me say something. If you have not tasted Nigerian goat, that is the most flavorful goat I've ever tasted in the world.
I would not be surprised.
Right? Yes, I want the Nigerian goat for goat water. You understand? If I can find it, I'm going to in fact, I went to Google it and see if I can get Nigerian goat here. You can understand why. Seriously, I want the Nigerian goat.
Oh yeah.
All right, fine. In technology.
Honestly, technology. I mean, aside from you. Because what you've done with
don't talk about me. It's not about me
let's
today.
talk about you. You know what, Rodney Brown and
Yes.
what's his business partner back in the day? I can't remember, but when it came to website development, I think they were the ones who stood out for me, and they were giving our market a product or a skill that we didn't have to go outside for. Let's say.
All right, mine is Alex Strawn. Alex has changed the landscape for payment processing, giving entrepreneurs access to being able to be paid with credit cards all over the world.
And the Soup Cafe uses his platform.
Right, I know, I see that too.
And he makes it so affordable.
Yeah.
And that's what growing businesses like mine need.
All right, art.
Sasha the artist.
Of course. I still think Vaughn
and Slyn, oh yes. He had done one of my costumes for the Black Sand show.
I know.
Yes.
I saw.
Beautiful, yeah.
Medical industry.
Cutting edge. You know what I'm going to say? My mother, Nurse Carmen Allen, she's retired now, but her specialty was she specialized in taking care of in psychiatric care. So, in the 80s, 90s, she was the one who would actually go to your house. If you have a mentally ill cousin or sister, she would come to you, and she has to give you medication. She won't wait for you to come to her. What she did was so beautiful. Oh my gosh, there was this thing called occupational therapy, wherein I remember it in the 90s, the Ministry of Health bus would go around the entire island, and it would collect all the mentally ill patients from their homes, and they would bring them to a community center in the country area. I think it was in Oldwood. I'm not too sure. And it brought them joy, because here was a time for them to be in each other's company, and they had a level of respect that they probably might not have gotten at home. Maybe they were, chastised or not considered to be complete, whole. Like they don't deserve 100% respect. But when they came into the companionship of others, they came alive, and they did crafts. And at the end of the year, during Mental Health Week in October, they sold their crafts. And then December, what happened? Big party, So my mother, through her corner of the world and through her skill level, was able to give respect to a segment of individuals that in the Caribbean, we kind of back in the day, we want to just close the door on them, and, we don't let anybody know that they exist, that they're there. But she brought them out, and she really, really cared for them. Mommy, much respect, Nurse Ellen. I used to see you. That's why I don't have a problem with the mentally ill. You know, when some of them walking on the road and, you know, others will be like, me, I mean, what are they going to do? Let me cross the street. I'm like, no, I'm right there. Good morning. They don't respond, but hey. I, because of my exposure through my mother, I have a different point of view when it comes to the mentally ill.
Mine would be Carice Manchester. She's coming. She's my guest next week, by the way.
I think she went to George Moody Stewart School with me, I think.
Yeah, she started something downstairs.
Oh, you can't tell me about it.
It's her medical practice, but she's OB/GYN, whatever those. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you see inside her office, you feel like you're not even St Kitts.
Okay.
Media industry comes to mind.
For me, Al Elms, he's passed. No, he was my Sunday school teacher in at the Methodist Church, and he worked in Ziz in the late 60s, early 70s. He introduced me to media.
I would say Clive Bacchus.
Okay.
Clive Bacchus, yes, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, so shout out to you. Fashion industry.
Oh gosh. Gosh, and like I have a block because so many are coming.
So many, I know. I say Kiwi Dan.
You start.
Kiwi Dan.
Excellent.
Yeah, she was supposed to be on this show too, but she was too shy. I was shocked because I see her TikToks. I'm like, yes, you'll be good on the show. She's
Yeah.
Like, I don't do media. I'm like, what?
There's a young lady in Nevis, Rivka. Very lovely lady. You've seen her work, love her work. I would say Corinne Pujard as well.
That too, yeah.
Corinne has done a few. What I love about Corinne, and if you look at Blacks, and I would have hosted the shows a few times, what I love about Corinne is that I could take an idea for an outfit to her and she just executes it, or an accessory, and she understands my madness. So I love that about her.
Last one, hair, beauty, and cosmetics.
There's this young lady, she lives in Keon. Her dad was a very senior member of the Defense Force. He's now retired. Oh gosh, I don't remember her name. But she, decades ago, was one of the first individuals who put herself out there to offer her professional makeup application skills. So right now you have like 10,000 of them on St Kitts and Nevis, you know. But I recall her being one of the first. Taking that step and doing what many are doing now. I can't remember your name. I'm so sorry.
What comes to mind is Le Jardin.
I know that.
Mimi.
Oh yes, and of course Nika's Flawless. That's a young lady who she does nails and so on. But I what you did for other entrepreneurs in terms of some level of mentorship, I have done with her, and I'm really impressed with how she has been able to grow her business.
All right, before we go, we want to shout out some young, like, kid entrepreneurs, if you know any.
Actually, I wish I knew her name. I recall walking through West Independence Square in April, and there was a young girl. Whenever I see entrepreneurs, my heart melt.
Right.
I got the money, but I want to spend. And I was like, should I stop? I was like, no, I'm gonna walk by.
What was she selling?
Jewelry, earrings, and I bought a pair of earrings. She said, "Hello, miss. Good afternoon."
Yes, they're very polite.
Yes.
Yes.
I was like, "Oh no, take my money.
Yeah,
just I'm broke now. What do you want? What do you have?" And just her personality and her posture, she sat down, and her vibe and her respect and her positivism. I'm like, no, I gotta spend with you. I don't know her name.
I think for me, young and up and coming on would be my daughter's sister, Zara Brown. You know, she does her lip gloss and tie dye and slime and
You kidding?
yeah, she does a lot of stuff, man, with her hands. So kudos. Things that probably used to drive her mom up the wall with slime. My daughter, when she plays with slime, I'm like, no, I don't want slime in the house. But it's again, you see a need, you feel a need,
Yeah, oh yeah, big time. You know what? When I was in junior high, as you say, see a need, feel a need, and you're talking about a young person. I was in 1A1, and there was a particular teacher who would send students out of the class if they didn't have their notebook. And I used to feel sorry for them. Or she used to say, well, you book me home, well, go home and come back before class done. And of course, we were obedient students, and individuals would actually run it to Buckley's and come back before class done with the notebook, you know. I don't know how students would take on a teacher like that now, but back then we were very obedient. And anyway, I used to feel so sorry for these students because the teachers would chew them up and spit them out. So you know what I started doing?
Right.
I started coming to school with an extra notebook. I called myself the social entrepreneur. That's it, social entrepreneur. That's what the term I give it now.
Right.
But it was just, me want a body suffer.
So
Me want a body come out of class. So I don't know how the word got around, but if I knew, like, you know, if I heard, oh, somebody, you know, we have this subject coming up and they have the notebook, I'd be like, here, see a notebook
Nice.
here.
They pay for it, right?
What they would do is give me back a notebook in return, so that I would always have one to
Right.
give to
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
else.
yeah,
And you know,
okay.
more often than not, their notebook was more fancy than the one I gave them.
All right, we're out of time.
Oh.
I know there's so much more we were supposed to cover, education and entrepreneurship and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? It is what it is. Any parting words? And thank you, Spice. Spice has been commenting all over. Unoma, and then Vanda says hi, Unoma.
What up, Vanda?
So
Wilkes, I
thank you
think.
guys for listening. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I love that young lady. She's very driven. My parting words would be, honestly, follow your heart. Don't look at competition. You know what's best for your business.
My parting words is be foolish enough to think that your idea will work.
Boop.
Be kind and spread love. I'll be back next week for more good news.
Love you.
Coming up next is Jerry with Lighting, please. You're going to have some good fun in the studio. Yeah.
Hey, jumba jumba, wait the party, always going. Oh, jubilee.
More and more cable customers are getting their cable internet package upgraded for free.
I paid 3 months and I got upgraded from Flash to Bolt. So now I'm actually paying less for more.
Yes, up to double speeds and savings of up to $200 per month just for using your card to pay your bill.
I had this Bolt package, then I got this platinum card and I had paid my bill with that. They have upgraded me to Strike, which is almost double the speed now.
All it takes is a little loyalty. Use your Cable Platinum Loyalty MasterCard to pay 3 consecutive cable bills.
I was upgraded from Flash to the Bolt after paying my bill on time for 3 consecutive months, and I'm now enjoying the free upgrade.
To keep the upgrade, just continue using your Platinum Loyalty Card to pay your cable bills. Pay your bill in-store or online at www.thecable.net. Sign up for the Cable Platinum Loyalty Card today and get more. Terms and conditions apply.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. WINN FM.